week. We're gonna get it done. Yes, Paul, we made it to another Friday. I know you've been struggling with knowing what day it was all week, but you made it. This one, this is going to be a good day for you, Paul. Uh, we're going to talk about quality time. And what was the title there, Miss Ward, that you came up with?
Okay. The talent title is Balancing Act, achieving harmony in work and family life while building an appliance repair business.
Amen. Wow. Happy Friday, Fred. Thank you for joining us. Uh, so this is Freestyle Friday, okay? It is still Freestyle Friday. We've come with a great topic, but if there's something you want to talk about, drop it in the comment section. Uh, we'll try our best to get to it. If you got questions, just a topic you want to talk about. But right now, we're pretty excited about this topic, and we're going to get right in. uh, when I asked Miss Ward to do the prayer, and then we found a great scripture to get us in the door.
All right. Lord, thank you for allowing us to wake up this morning, to be able to take our deep breath and get up and get out and go get it. We understand that every day is not promised. Give us the intention and intelligence to understand that every opportunity is an opportunity to serve you, that we are here for service and service alone. Any benefits we get from the deeds we do and the wisdom that you give us to help others. I always explain everyone every day that what you're going through ain't even about you. Thank you for making that clear to me. That is for the others that will touch and change their lives. Amen.
Amen. you know, that was a good prayer. I uh, I really like doing these things, and I'll tell you, a lot of people don't realize it, but I get nervous every time the light turns red. I don't know what the heck's going to happen. I don't know what I'm going to say. I just have this little quick talk with God and says, lead this show that we could lead somebody else to you. And when they follow us, know that we're following you. And it's just kind of an unspoken thing. Uh, this I feel like is part of my mission. I love helping people, and I love that other people have dedicated to helping me, and that's why we're here, everybody. If you're wondering what the deal is, that's what the deal is. That's the real deal. Dr. Dan checking in. Great way to start the day, of course. Of course it is. Paul says, quality time. I work 7 days a week, 12 to 16-hour days. Leave at 8 a.m., come home for lunch, come home around midnight. Then I do it all over again. Yes. Paul, we're talking to you today, bud. And anybody else out there talking to me. That's what we do. So, the scripture for today, if you want to look it up and read along, and one thing I've learned about studying scripture in my time is a lot of times somebody will preach or mention a verse, or maybe two or three verses. And one thing that I challenge people to do is read around the verse. Try to understand what was going on before and after, because sometimes these things can be taken out of context. Uh, and always ask for his guidance and understanding of what you read, because this is a love letter to you from him. 1 Timothy 5 and 8. 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8. But if anyone does not provide for his own, and especially for those of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. And I want to speak to that just a minute, because there's another side to that, right? Because providing for your family and your loved ones is your mission, right? But you got to be there too. And I want to say, a lot of you know, that know me knows my dad passed away 5 years ago, and it really shook me up, and I ended up straightening up a lot of things in my life as a result of that shock. And one thing I've always remembered that Dad said when I was in high school, when he was just trying to raise a punk teenage kid, uh, he said, "When you grow up, learn a trade, work, and provide for your family." And that was the instruction I was given. And my dad was a great guy, loved by many. It surprised me there was over 700 people at his funeral, and he was just a regular guy like me. Uh, and you know, that's what he gave me was go to work and provide for your family. So that's what I did. And for many years, I worked hard and long hours to provide for my family. And after I lost him, uh, it hit me how important family is. And you have to take advantage of the time that you have. And I had always thought I'm there, so I'm there, right? I'm spending time with my family. And a lot of times I'm not doing it the way that I need to. I'm home or I'm in the same room, but my head and my heart are other places. And it's not negative places. It's just I'm so scattered that I can't be one place without being another place too. So my dad worked a lot. He worked Monday through Friday, 10 hours a day, and then work on Saturday side jobs to make the extra money so we can have stuff. And I kind of modeled that behavior. So this topic is near and dear to me as I have four kids. Three of them are high schoolers, two of them are seniors, and we're running out of time to spend with our kids. And I'm trying to balance a growing business at the same time. So I'm gonna stop talking for a minute, Miss Ward, so I can gain my composure back, and and we'll continue this conversation. All right.
Well, I want to say, brother, thank you again for your vulnerability, because there's so many people that need to hear this. You know, the American dream is, we're really living it. We got our own businesses. We're doing everything that the world say that we should be doing. But that harmony between life and work and love and business is just a whole nother thing. But that's why the Service Alliance Group is so phenomenal. That's why everyone should be have full memberships, because it really gives you the fact, first of all, that it is, the group itself was spawned out of the willingness to serve, which is a testament to the Christian part. Okay. Because the reality is we got people that support this group or behind the scenes that don't even have to do this. They got enough demands in their own personal life and their personal situations that they don't even have to take the time to do it. So my hat goes off to all of them. But it provides tools such as your skill set. The skill set is really the key to being able to get to balance. Because say you're working, you'll see guys who work 4 or 5 hours a day and they pull in X amount of dollars because they pinpoint certain jobs, but they also have a skill set so they can demand. that particular dollar for those jobs. And then the day stops at 2 o'clock. They got time enough to go pick up the kids, got time enough to go to the games, time enough to do X, Y, and Z. I mean, like, I'm gonna give you a prime example of a guy that comes to mind. He may not think this. One guy I really admire is David, and I hate saying his last name because I always mess up Olivia or whatever, but I always say David O. And I watched him take a family business that was, going through the traditional thing, and I watched him, do the Goldman and Sachs, talk about his Goldman and Sachs experience, which is, that program they offer. And what it did was it showed him how to basically slot that time to dedicate certain things and put systems in place on the business side so he could, he recently got married, he's been there for the kids, but a lot of that came from that balance. And that was really, I think, had a lot to do with the introduction of business tools, you know. I
Yeah.
think all we know is hard work. All of us, we come, we bootstrap this stuff. So everything we do, we work hard, and there's nothing wrong with hard work, but you got to be able to translate that into smart work by having access to the manuals, Service Alliance Group, by having access to mentors and, those peer groups, Service Alliance Group, that can help you through the process. But then you can't be a hard head. The mindset got to change. That's the other piece. A lot of times people are just in their own way because they don't understand how one person does that. It make no sense. Well, my rule number one, people ask me 900 questions. I say, stop selling from your pocket, sell from the pocket of the client and have the right client to sell to. It ain't that hard. And everything ain't good money. Those jobs, instead of taking all of them, you got to look through them. Just I ain't got no problem with saying pick me.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick through what's going to be best for my company. I'm not going to take anything that is going to be an issue and an additional headache. It might look good in the beginning, but most people pick up a project and they never think 360. They never think about the callback. They never think about, if I do this halfway, what's the repercussions? Or can I afford the fallout? Or can I afford the fact that I'm not really good at this, but I'm going to try anyway? Can I deal with it? No, don't try. Go get solidified. Go ride with somebody. Talk to people who've been in the game longer. You ain't got to pick up everything they saying, but pick up the pieces that work for you. That's basically where I'm at.
You know, I want to try to tie it back a little bit to what we was doing because what you're saying, if they weren't listening between the lines, is you're giving them the gold on how to manage your time so that you can have more quality time with your family and your loved ones. So how do you do it? How does Paul Hartland, and I'm gonna use you, brother. How do you go from 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and he has two little twin babies
Mm,
and a wife at home taking care of them. How does he go from 7 days, 12 hours to a regular schedule and spend more time with his kids and his wife? And I I've had conversations with my guy, 5 Star Mike. He's the office manager for us, uh, service manager. So he kind of points out differences in my leadership style and the one that he had grown with, as far as leading workers. And he calls out sometimes that you taking time off for kids' games. He doesn't get it. And he said, when I was coming up, you worked. Dad worked, and mom took care of everything else. And forget the gender profiles, right? But that was where he grew up, and mostly where I grew up. Uh, Old country, Uh, that's what happened. So I, being a family man and running my own business, I've made a decision to lead my team in a way that benefits family. I have a young business, and everybody in my on my team has kids, except for Mike. He's too old now. He has his grown. Uh, I never had that leadership, and I'll tell you, I don't have other tangible benefits to offer my team. So one thing that I decided I was going to do as I grew this thing was perks. And one of the perks is if your kids got something going on or you got something in your life going on, you tell me, done. I don't care how much vacation time you got, sick time, you can be off. That's it. And it kind of throws a wrench in the business sometimes. Sometimes we're overbooked, and Terry's got to leave early because his girls are playing soccer. Or Bill has to have this day off because his kids are in a baseball tournament, and I do it. So if I'm going to do it, I should let them do it, and I should encourage it, not just allow it, but encourage it. Because I'll tell you one thing is I've lived and worked in jobs where I wanted to be somewhere else while I was at work. My family is doing something without me, and I really want to be there. And how much quality work am I doing on that day and in those moments? So, Miss Ward's talking about how can you be more efficient and gain the rewards of a 12-hour day, but not use 12 hours in a day to do it. And that's where we're at. Okay, Paul, we need you to be home with your wife and your new babies and being dad. And I know you got to provide for them. So here's what we're talking about: is the things that make you more effective, that you can be more profitable, because it ain't about the money. I always have to say that it ain't about the money, but the profit and the money provide freedom. We're
Yeah.
not have that high class lifestyle. Maybe you are, but right now we're talking about being present for your family, so that when you're at work, you're at work, and when you're at home, you're definitely not at work. So, Ms. Ward, you was
Yeah.
mentioning some of those things, and let's talk about a few of those piece by piece, but now
Hmm.
that background and intentionally listening and paying attention to each of those and how it can change your business and your lifestyle.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to commend Paul because the only reason that I personally, and I can only speak to myself, is that I was ridiculous, man. I was trying to work 24 hours a day because I'm greedy. I'm just going to keep it a buck. God ain't done with me yet. So, because I saw that paper and I saw how much I could get, man, you watch my earlier videos, man, it's midnight. I'm coming out of Miami, just finishing jobs, and so I think we have to be very careful when we talk about the one man shop because he's got 1,200 things on his shoulders. Plus, he coming home to a woman that he loves that's absolutely exhausted. Like, I can't even imagine one, two at the same time. Y'all, we need to be praying and taking up a collection plate for him, honey, because he got this forever. But the reality is what he has to do is he has to find time to just gather his data. So, like, one thing he could do that would be very easy is when he finishes a day, he's got to stop in that that parking lot like I do, my virtual office occasionally, and just look over his tickets. Because what I try to do personally when I'm in the field, I want to do all my ordering. If I'm doing it on my own, I'm doing all my ordering. I'm doing everything either in between jobs or I have a system set up to where I get it done. Because when I walk through the door, I don't want to bring none of that in with me. You follow me? Like it right now in my life, when I go out on the road, I'm doing one thing, but when I come inside, I'm studying for my AI certs and all this other stuff I got going on in my other life. So I had to split the two. But what he wants to do is he wants to look at each individual ticket and just reflect on how that could have been done better, or was this a waste of my time? And once he realizes the tickets that are waste his time, it wasn't worth the time he put in it, how it kept him from doing a better job on another job or being able to suggest additional repairs. Like prime example, every time I go into a home, I do a diagnostic and then I say, are there any other appliances you need me to look at? I ask because if I can take that one home and take care of the microwave and the dishwasher because they don't think about it and then they like, and I don't care if it's COD or warranty. You ask those questions and you tack that on, you just doubled your ticket and a lot of times, or added at least a 30% more to the ticket. So you're in one house spending maybe an hour and a half, and you're making that much. You follow me? So you got to look at the different things. The other thing you want to look at is, you know, you want to look at the clientele in the areas that you're covering. You want to look at your ticket average. Okay, when I'm in this zip code, what is my ticket average? How many tickets? Because a lot of times people like, I get 5 tickets over here, but these tickets only $100 each. That's $500. I get 2 tickets over here, but these tickets are $750 each. That's $1,500. So that's what I mean when I say start peeling back the layers. And then you got to look at where your challenges were in that particular day. Okay, this took me longer than it should. Is it because I'm not getting enough seal systems, or I'm not getting enough ovens, or the stuff that you thought in your brain had it down? Like you could go like me the other day. I look at several Samsungs all the time, so everybody knows Samsung one is nothing on the dryers. Like we're like, it's only one or two things because it's simple. I went to go look at a GE and it took me long. I was like, why is this GE taking me longer? And then I realized it's got less screws, it's easy to disassemble. But then I had to go back to my schematics in my brain. But I hadn't worked on a GE dryer and I was embarrassed. I was like, really? But then I took my round brown home and I pulled that schematic and I took out my pen and drew and all this other stuff because in my mind, I'm one of them people, I want to have it on my hip. Like I want to be able to pull a trigger and go bam, you
Yeah.
know? And anytime I see those areas that are a challenge, I don't brush them off. I'm like either senility, senior moments, whatever it is, I'm getting ready to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? So
See,
those are the things you want to look at in your business. And then the beautiful part about it is because you are married, and I don't want to get in your business, but I'm gonna keep it real. And this is for all the fellas. You
oh,
need
for
to put some timers on your phone, like 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and you need to be sending something to that woman that's there for you. That woman that's worried about you being on the road because of the world we live in. And you need to start doing little things like that. Send some flowers home. Scare her, so she wonder if you're the same person. Because the thing about I think particularly with men, being a giver is so important, and that with men, you are taught to give and provide. So the way the person reacts, it really affects your ego and how you are. Like you bust your butt, and a lot of times men don't talk. Y'all internalize, which is why y'all don't live as long as us. But I'm just saying. Those little things, I think it really bring you more joy to send us some flowers or a text message. I love you. Thank you for standing by me. I know it's scary. I chose to step out and do a business because they might have not said it, but they was giving you the side eye. Like, you mean not a regular check, really?
yeah.
But you got to think those your significant others because you can't do that, and it just helps your relationships. So those are the things. Those are just a few of the things I would recommend.
Me and Miss Ford talked a little after the show yesterday, and we was talking about some of this stuff. And you're talking about love languages, and Paul, I think you have the same love language I do to my wife and my family. I feel like I'm showing how much I love them by how much I work and how much I can provide. And really, what she wants is a little help, a little quality time, and wants you to be around and sacrifice some things. And it's hard because they still want that money, they still want that security. Uh, so how do we do it? And you know, I really like the topic of targeted marketing. And we weren't going to talk about it, but then here we are because it does tie directly. So, how can you raise your ticket value per job, per customer? And I'll tell you one thing I've noticed as I do my analyzing of my KPIs. This year, we did less jobs but made more money. And that's what you want to do. So, how can we do that? And Miss Ward challenged me last night as we were talking. And I went and did some homework last night, and I found the highest median income zip codes in my area. And I'm going to start targeting even tighter. Like I was targeting counties. We have 10 counties that I service, and I advertise to three or four of them. Some of them I don't really want to work. I do, but I'm not paying to get those customers, right? I'm paying to get the customers that I know are my ideal customer. And it's not just the money of the customer, but the type of customer. Uh, Ms. Ward talks about the avatar. Uh, if you were to explain the type of customer that is your ideal customer, what are they? And where do they live? What kind of appliances do they have? And the fact is, not every job is a good job to have. Not every dollar is a good dollar. And like you said, you could be making a ton of money, but not profitable. There's counties in my area that I no longer service, even though we made some money and we had some calls, but they were so far out of the beaten path that it wasn't efficient for our routes to get more jobs done. If it was like Miss Ward traveling across the entire state, but it's for $2,500 calls, then that makes sense. Mine wasn't. So I was able to go through my numbers and sort by county, and now I want to do by zip codes and find which areas did I have the most calls, did I make the most money, and which ones were the most profitable. Because if I'm going to be away from my family, I want to maximize what I'm getting for each of those hours that I'm out. So pay attention to that kind of stuff. Uh, and switching gears a bit, uh, because me and Miss Ward both watch uh, the Entree Leadership podcast from Dave Ramsey. And one of the big things that he talks about is delegation. And as a one man show, who are you going to delegate it to? Right? Well, there's resources out there. There's things that you're doing that you ain't got no business doing at all. And that's the facts. Uh, I am not a customer service rep. I can pretend to be one for a very small amount of time, but I ain't got the patience for it. Okay, I am not a bookkeeper. I'm not a CPA. I don't like ordering parts. I don't like marketing. I love the topic of marketing, But these things, you need to find what you are good at and what you are not good at and delegate those things. Find somebody to do it so that you can focus on making money. Uh, how many of those hours, the 12 to 16 hours, are you in another room at your house or in your office away from home doing computer work that is not making money? I'm not talking about the pregame. I'm talking about the other stuff. The pregame is where it's at. So, what you got on that?
Well, I agree with that. I think that for most people, I appreciate you too, Paul. Mwah. Kiss them babies for me, boy. I bet they got fat cheeks too. Anyway, but um, I think that for the one man show, and I coach so many guys in this area. I think they are so concerned because I think there's like sticker shock when they get in the game. Like the amount of money you got to spend on twos when you think you had everything, or the refunds. Oh my God, I got to give money back. Like just the money that's involved. Appliance repair is not a cheap business. You know,
Yeah. So,
and I think that it's hard for them to separate with what to do first. That's why I really like my office help because I love the fact that Sean and them, they give out all that, like they got the CSR, they can help you with the back end, they can order parts, they can do whatever you want. And I just think it's important, once again, Service Alliance Group, this is why you guys got to be full members. Um, you got to be willing to invest. If it was me, if I was starting from the again over, I would definitely reach out to Sean and them simply because I really like their insight. I like the fact that because they're exposed to multiple businesses, you know,
yeah.
and it's crazy. Oh my goodness, this man is really killing himself. Boy, look,
So, so
how
let's talk about this because we talked about this with
hmm
Sam yesterday. And Paul's seeing the next step. First step,
hmm
got to drop the other job at some point. I'll tell you what, Paul, I was doing the same daggone thing. Uh,
hmm
oh yes, Jason heard us say my office help, and now he's here. What's up, Jason?
I love Jason. He's so funny.
He works for Shayna, his wife. He listens. Uh, so Paul, I did that for a while, man. 2 years into my business, I was still working for a full time job. I'm telling you, 48 to 60 hours a week, and it was an hour drive each way. Uh, I had to work 13-hour days, and it was rotating shifts. So I went from day shift to night shift, and days off during the week, and no days off, and then a whole week off, and it always took a day of rest just to be normal again between cycles. And all the while, each time I had a chance, I'm doing appliance repair calls, trying to get it off the ground. And the thing is, Dave Ramsey says, get the boat closer to the dock before you jump. And I see you now, man. You're making the sacrifice now so that you can live like no one else later. And as long as you don't get caught holding on to both for too long, because I'll tell you, it's tempting because I was making really good money at the other job, and then the appliance repair money was that was some really good walking around money. And when we did go somewhere with the family, I had all the money. I was pulling out watts, and I don't have that now. I'm in the middle of sacrificing and building the business and investing most of it back into that. and having just enough to keep the family going, but still be there. And I'll tell you, you may be at the point, Paul, and we gotta watch this. How far booked out you are, and how many people are not booking because you're too far booked out. And if you get to where you're 4 or 5 days out because you're doing 4 calls a day because that's all you have time for, and you're losing customers, it may be time to start working on that exit plan for the other job. Because if the thought process is, if you're working 40 hours a week at the other job, if you work those same 40 hours on your business, would you make up the gap? And that's why you're not putting the boat at the dock. You're just getting it pretty daggone close so that you can jump and reach it, if you understand the analogy. So start focusing on that in your business to maximize the efficiencies so that you can make that jump. Because you got to get home to them babies, man. I'll tell you, uh, my guy Mike, he says, day after tomorrow, they're asking for the keys. Okay. And I got two of them driving now, and it's true. It's like, I remember living through the stuff, but dang, how they're seniors now. How? It was just a few days ago, they were learning to walk. And you only have small memories because I worked all that. And now I'm trying to know my kids, know my wife, spend time with them, enjoy that time. My key word a couple of years ago when I was making this transition was be present, and it really meant something to me to be in the room and not be selfish, but to soak up everything that the people around you uh, are going through. I get up and I work on the cars with the kids. We work on appliances. We discuss things. I'll spend a few hours helping them learn how to drive. The sports, throwing ball with them. It's things that they remember, and I do too. Good, good. He's got a plan. He's got a plan. Hey, anything we can do to help you, Paul, you just let us know. Uh, there was one other thing I was wanting to go to, but I can't remember. Oh, how do you shut off? And you preluded to it. Look at this. I just realized yesterday you brought the energy, and today I'm bringing it. Uh, I got lots on my mind now. You mentioned stopping somewhere in a parking lot and going over the jobs that you had and how to make them better. And I'll tell you one thing I do almost every day is I park in my driveway and I spend about 10 minutes just sitting there, catching my breath, clearing my mind, and I'm not reviewing what happened in the day necessarily, but it's almost like a brain dump. Whatever's on my mind, I'll sit there and I'll think about it. I'll get on my iPad and I'll close the business that I have on my mind, order parts, whatever it is that's going to take my mind off of my family. That's what I'm trying to do in the driveway. And they're wondering, well, why is he still out there? Dinner's getting cold. It's it's so that when I get in, I can actually be there. I used to answer the emails and messages from customers because I couldn't afford to lose one, is what I thought. And I try my best to not even look at the messages, but I definitely don't reply to them. What happens tonight can be taken care of tomorrow. It's okay. Give yourself that grace. Dr. Dan says my second job is actually adding to the business stability, fixing and selling appliances. Luckily, my son is now helping. Good topic. Overworking led to losing my first marriage. Long story. Uh, I'm sure it had something to do with my first marriage. Uh, there's plenty of things did. Uh, Dr. Dan, he just made the jump too, Paul. Earlier this year, while he was in the first quarter mastermind group, he made the resolution that he was leaving his day shift appliance repair job and going full on to his own business. And it's hard. It's hard. Uh, but I don't believe he's looking back at it. Let us know, Dan. Are you regretting the jump, or do you have a new freedom, even though it's harder? Go ahead, Miss War. Wrap it up for us.
Well, I'm glad that we had an opportunity to share some of our own experiences and help who we could. I learned a lot myself listening to my brother over here. And like I said, y'all, we got one life and we've been graced with it. All I can say is live it to the fullest and don't hurt nobody and don't hurt yourself. That's all I got for you.
Amen. Amen. So, in closing, pay attention to your family. Work is work, but what are you working for? Remember why you're working, and remember to value that. And as always, we want to thank Miss Ward and the Solid Stepper community. Solid Steps to Wealth on YouTube. Get that kick in the pants. We get the softer side of Sears uh, Ward on our show. But if you need a little bit more of a kick in the butt, she'll give it to you. Just go on over to Solid Steps. And if you're watching from the Solid Stepper Nation, thank you for paying attention here. This is the Service Alliance Group.com. We are for the business owners. We want to help you start, run, and grow more efficiently and effectively. And we have the tools and resources available for you to do that. I'm not good at these commercials, so there it is. Dr. Dan says there is a real freedom, but it comes with responsibility. That sounds like something Spider-Man would say. Uh, so,
It's a good one.
anyways, we'll try this one. This is the Service Alliance Group signing out.